1, 2, 3, 4. No, he just dribbled this nigga's head, shatters the glass, kills Duke Perv's Hat's men, and reveals himself as Shadow, the stylish bandit slayer. This bitch Rose fucks up the Aura farm and calls him the stylish fucking bandit slayer. Ladies and gentlemen, Aura is the very thing that determines whether you are like that or you just a bum. It's the very thing that divides the losers and the winners. If you don't have Aura, you don't have anything. At least that's what niggas like Sid Kagano and Sung Jin Woo would tell you to your face. Because there isn't a moment where these two niggas are not Aura farming. I won't lie, Sid does have his moments, but Sung does not stop Aura farming. And the one time he wasn't Aura farming, his fans hate bombed the damn episode. The nigga woke his mom up from a 4-year coma, dog. Let him get a little emotional. But today we are going to see who has the better Aura farming tech. The Eminence in Shadow or the Shadow Monarch. The way we are going to be doing this is best out of 3. The main things we will be judging, yes, we, you and I, is the intro, the fits, the outro, embarrassment of the opponent, and we'll throw in a little extra sauce in there just for the really juicy Aura farms. Whoever has 2 points at the end wins. And without any more chitter chatter, let's get into the match. Now, Sid's Aura farms are not all that long because he outclasses pretty much everybody in his universe. But in the instance that we are judging, yes, you and I, some is known as the Cult of Diablos have taken over Sid's high school. The main leader has so much magical energy that the students believe even if they had their magic that was sealed off, they wouldn't stand a chance. This really got it like that. Now earlier, Sid faked his death by using magic strings to hold his heart together to keep it from beating so they couldn't check for a pulse, and then using magic to get his heart pumping again, like by beating the fuck out of it. I don't know how he did that. But Sid's also been taking out foot soldiers one by one from behind the scenes. So the head master, the leader, sends his strongest soldier to go figure out what all the ruckus is about. Even though this nigga is supposed to be low-key like that, he still brings 4 foot soldiers to protect him from getting attacked first. Just the mere possibility, just the thought that Shadow Garden is involved shook this to his core and made him bring 4 foot soldiers who didn't do shit because all 4 of them disappeared without a trace. And as this nigga was looking around trying to figure out what's going on, Sid Kagano pops up and palms this shit into oblivion. He thinks Sid is using an artifact, so he pops this like net of magic using his own like weapon or artifact so that if Sid does run up, he'll just catch him in the net and then he can just slice him up. But Sid's already in the net and sends Buddy flying a second time. As the nigga starts to realize he's getting his shit rocked, Sid knocks his ass back for a 3rd time. And he stumbles into the classroom and realizes it's filled with his dead comrades. This nigga gets shook to his fucking core, and Sid appears behind him on the ceiling and then slimes his ass out. When someone says a character wins due to perception blitz, this is what they mean. He completely speed diffed this nigga 4 times, dog. But it don't end there. Sid's been teaming up with this science girl who somehow also didn't get caught, and she's really adept at using magical tools and artifacts and magic items. Forgot that one. I guess they all fit in the same category, but whatever the fuck. But he's been helping this girl to get the pieces, parts, and all the recipes to unlock a second artifact that goes with the one that the men downstairs are using. And with this second artifact, they can give everyone their magic back and make it to where the law can come in and do their job without risk of dying because they can't use magic and the enemy can. Sid ends up sending the girl off into this like back tunnel dirt hallway thing that's in the school apparently, and she ends up getting to the gym, tossing her magic item, and makes it to where everyone can use their magic again. And since the students can now use their magic, they start to fight back. They're not really winning, but they start to fight back. Seemingly the strongest student, Princess Rose of the Oriana Kingdom, she realizes that even though they have their magic, they're still kind of losing. So she's going to use the last of her magic to kill the leader. But goon number 236 isn't really going for that and stops her. She then proceeds to get swarmed by multiple other goons, and just as she thinks it's over, one of the goons gets sliced down the middle, and she realizes, oh yeah, we good. Shadow drops in from the top, shattering the glass and stands up slowly with this hard ass soundtrack playing in the back. Boy, every time I watch this shit, I get chills. Even Shadow's soldiers, Shadow Garden, they introduce themselves. We are Shadow Garden. We lurk in the shadows to hunt the shadows. Now, listen. If someone drops some shit like this IRL, they get a smooth 5-star to the face. But this nigga's execution was hard as fuck. Plus, it's anime, so points a game. Both sides, Shadow Garden and the Cult of Diablo, start duking it the fuck out, with Shadow Garden very clearly winning. And with seeing that, the leader just like, fuck it, I'm out this bitch. Walks over to some closet and just sets the entire goddamn building on fire. But Sid not gonna let him get away that easily. So he pulls up on his ass, perched in the window. Wind flowing, drapes flowing, even better, and calls him out by his name. That's points gained. Sid asks him, why'd you do it? Why'd you go through all this trouble? And I'm not going to give his full backstory here. Just know that he killed Science Girl's mom by stabbing her arms, legs, and feet and shit, and then stabbing her heart and, quote unquote, giving it a good twist for not helping him, and then adopt her and nurtured her to do the work her mom refused to do. The Science Girl, that is. Sid asks him, he's like, yo, you really used her for your own selfish gain? In which he's like, yeah, I did it. And what about it? Sid tells him, I don't really give a fuck. I got rid of all the meaningless things in life until I had nothing but the things that mean everything. Sid stands up, the two have a little walk off, they clash, and then Sid gets launched out the window. The old man starts to walk off, but like I said, Shadow not letting him get away with that easy. Shadow appears, and without him even doing anything, the old man just pops his ult and gets a boost in power so that he can just match Shadow, and goes on the typical maniac magic rant about how he now holds more magical energy than any human ever, and starts trying to speed blitz Shadow. But Shadow's just blocking every single attack this nigga throws with zero effort, all while not saying a single fucking word and having a mean ass glare on this nigga. Shadow clearly pretty fucking upset. The old man says he's done holding back, as if that's gonna change anything. He also says that he's already set the whole shit up to blame Shadow Garden, and they'll all be painted terrorists. We were never walking the path of righteousness, but we are not evil. We walk the path we make ourselves. And if you want to blame us, go ahead. We're still gonna do what we do. Shadow stabs Buddy in the hand, then the knee, then the outer knee, left shoulder, catches Buddy's hairline. You started with her extremities and stabbed her heart and gave it a good twist, is that right? Ends Buddy's life and then walks off like a boss without uttering a single word. He didn't even tell the girl how this man has been using her for his own wicked plans. He simply just dashes off into the night sky. Oh my God. This nigga just killed him in the same way he bragged about killing a defenseless science woman. Then he decides to bear the fault and hate for a situation that he stopped, so that a girl he cared about wouldn't have to go through the pain of being betrayed by her father. Not to mention the multiple speed blitzes and multiple one-liners that Shadow drops. Shadow is the main aura farmer, as he only shows up at night, and then Sid's usually like, setting up the aura farm, and no one ever realizes they're the same nigga except for his underlings. This is some tech I never thought could be achieved, but he's achieving it. This is a strong start for Sid, but how will it fare to Sung Jin Woo's? So Jin Woo decides he's gonna take an adventure with some bums, like some B ranks and C ranks, teach this girl who's a friend of his sister's that hunting is pretty dangerous. Since she was evaluated as an E rank, she's obviously really fucking weak, and Sung is also an E rank, but obviously he's hiding that shit. He's really like above S rank, and it was meant to be a simple task, but of course shit goes south. The gate ended up turning red, meaning they were trapped in there until they completed the boss event. On top of that, 1 hour outside is a whole day inside of the gate. While Woo was breaking down the situation, they get ambushed by some ice elves. Nobody else was able to block but Jin Woo. He grabbed Shawty and caught the arrow barehanded. Now Shawty B, she low-key noticed that shit. So when the leader of the group decides to split up, she goes with Sung. He's like, man, you don't really have to do that. You're not with them in like terms of strength. You could just come with us. And she's like, nah, I think I'm gonna go with them. The group realizes that they're walking into some ice bear territory and they should turn around. But Sung is like, it'd be better to camp here since we'll be safe from the ice elves. They won't come into another creature's territory. He summoned some coats for the group, and the girl that he brought along, he's like, who are you? Like, who really are you? He's just like, nah, don't even trip. I brought you here, so just leave it to me. Also, don't ask too many questions. And the two of you, don't ask me shit. Don't tell me to do shit. Ooh. A bear pulls up on these niggas, and Sung just off screens that motherfucker. And I don't know how he got up on that bear. Like, what happened in that fight for him to end up on top of the bear? But I know it wasn't necessary in the slightest. While Sung's out hunting some ice bears, the leader and his team, they just got wiped due to quote unquote lack of equipment. We really know the niggas are just sorry, but he thinks it's just lack of equipment. He starts to walk. Some might think Jinwoo hit the jump into the air, slam this nigga into the ground. No, he smacked this nigga's head into the ground, sent him flying. If you even look closely, Sung's feet never left the ground. He just smacked the back. No, he just dribbled this nigga's head. Then this nigga Sung, he calls out to the ear. He said there was a strong one among you. He was just a run. Well, shit. After some back and forth about what the big woo really is, blazing. Okay, that's dick riding. All right, you need to watch out with all that. The elves and the shadows start brawling it out. So that's 4. Nikki, Ricky, Dicky. That's 4. Nikki, Ricky, and Dicky. I don't know. Don got his name's Vodka. Jin reciprocates. Big boy words. Do your homework. Jin reciprocates and shares his name. The two of them waste absolutely no time and hits this nigga with the arise. Tells this nigga, your new name is Iron. Man, fuck no. You gonna slime me for wanting revenge since you held back vital info and power, brought me back to life as your soldier, and then you gonna have the gall to name me after the material used to craft my armor? Yeah, we'd have to scrap. But obviously, Iron can't, since he's a shadow now, and just continue any further. Look at the walk-off. This nigga could have jumped out the way, dashed out the way. Nah, this nigga walked off with the invisibility. Jin tells this nigga, man, oh man. Round 1 of the aura offs has concluded, and although both contestants were cold as fuck, Jinwoo just had that shit in the bag from the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. From telling niggas to shut the fuck up and don't ask him questions, sitting on the bear, lil boying 2 different niggas, killing one and reviving him as a soldier, then killing the other one's army and jumping the fuck out of him of his request. Remember, Vodka asked to be jumped, and that cold ass walk off on the finisher comboed into the one-liner. Yeah, Jinwoo had it. But hey, don't get me wrong. Sid's was cold as fuck. He faked his death just to pull up, killed Buddy the same way he kills someone, and then bears the weight of guilt to protect someone who's been through so much pain already. I'm gonna give intro to Shadow. That soundtrack carried hard as fuck, but I'm gonna give intro to Shadow. I said it's over. That was too hard. We're gonna give fit to Sung because, this is his best fit the entire series, so we just gonna give it to him. Embarrassing the opponent, that's gotta go to Sid. Sung might have had it if it were a 1v1. Don't get me wrong, that nigga asked to be, jumped, but he, it wasn't a 1v1. Small aura farming moments, we gonna give that to Jin. The whole sitting on a bear shit and telling niggas to shut the fuck up, that was hard as fuck. And then the subscribe and like point, we gonna give that to both Sung and Sid, cause that's the most auraful thing you can do. Nah, that was some bullshit. Okay, both contestants brought their A game, but let's see how they will follow up in the next fucking round. Everybody suit up. Suit up! In Sid's second aura farm, he ended up at a festival for this goddess trial, and Sid decided he's not going to participate in this trial because he just has no interest. But the woman that he came with, Rose Oriana, she's from the last moment. She was the one who Sid had saved last second. She decided that she was going to sign him up without his permission. Now, he doesn't want to do this shit, but if he does not go, his family's name will be tarnished and his school's name will be tarnished, causing him to get kicked out, and his sister would beat his ass. But if Sid does go in and the trial summons a god on similar power to his, it could expose him as the Eminence in Shadow. So he compromises. He sends an orb of magical energy into the air and lights up the night sky, and uses that confusion to pull up as Shadow. When everyone looked down, Shadow's just standing there in his radiance. My name is Shadow, he who lurks in and hunts the shadows. Ancient memories lie slumber within the sanctuary. This night, we shall set them free. That shit was tough. The signs for a strong ass opponent start popping up, and everybody within the arena It's just like, whoa, what's going on? The arena spawns in the Witch of Calamity, known as the most powerful witch in all of history. She starts blood bending because she's like the Witch of Blood or whatever. And Sid's just dancing around this shit. Not a single one of them is touching him. He's just blabbering on about how a battle is a conversation. You know, that cliche. She's sending everything at this nigga, and he catches a ride on her magic. He starts to realize that she's not at full power and can't give him a proper conversation. So he just hits the meanest zigzag and ends her shit with the no look cut on command. Also a classic. Then dips into the night sky. But later on, he's trying to just chill as Sid, and a door appears in front of him and just keeps following him, forcing him to go in. He finds the witch, goes through a few trials where they have to kill her younger self and end up in a room that will free both of them. But they have to wait for the so-called chosen one to show up because neither of them can pull the sword from the ground. And instead of the hero or chosen one showing up, this bald-headed Nimrod does. And he's got the great hero Olivier by his side. She's the one known for cutting off the arm of the great demon Diablo. Olivier starts her approach and the witch tells Sid, she's like, you need to leave. Obviously, Sid's not going for it. Olivier smacks his ass into a wall, then another, then another, then another, throwing him all around the room before breaking his sword. And this nigga Sid starts laughing. He's laughing his ass off. And the Nimrod, yes, we gonna call him the Nimrod, starts getting offended, calling Sid lucky. Olivier continues her strike and he dodges. But she gets behind him and stabs his ass in the back. The witch keeps trying to convince this nigga that he needs to flee. The Nimrod tries to bargain and says, if she helps him, he'll let Sid live. And Sid wasn't fucking with that at all. He says they can shut the fuck up and let him do his thing. So the Nimrod orders Olivier to kill him, striking Sid in the gut. But then as he's being impaled, this nigga just smiles and laughs, grabs Olivier, breaks her wrist, spins her around, and bites a chunk out of her neck meat, killing Olivier. Or at least you would think, because it was a clone. The Nimrod still calls Sid lucky and says that there is so much magic in the sanctuary, not even they can comprehend it, revealing the at least 50 to 100 Olivier clones that start to attack. But Sid just opens his eye and cuts down all the clones coming at him with his magic. Now Sid should not be able to do this, but he's just like that, so he does. And he does this by slowly releasing magic in his eyelid, making it so solid that the magic absorption couldn't absorb it. He starts fading all the clones with ease while talking to the witch, saying instead of drawing the sword, cutting the chains, then destroying the magic core behind the door, we just gonna blow this whole bitch up. I am all range.
Atomic.
His purple aura lights up the night sky as his pupils and onlookers watch in awe. As this much magic power belonging to one man is absurd. Nah, y'all, this shit was hard as fuck. This nigga showed up to a festival uninvited, got the strongest opponent he could have gotten, an opponent said to have the power to destroy the world, dog walked her ass, then later on hit one of the most vicious counters on a motherfucker I have ever seen. All to say fuck the proper steps of how we should do this shit. Why not just blow this bitch to kingdom come? And encapsulates the entire city in his aura. Why? Cause he said motherfucking Kagano. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment is one to go in the books. Now Sung showed out in the last one. Let's see how he does on this next counterplay. So Sung decided he'd take a break from the dungeon raiding business, as the last raids he went on weren't all that good, and joins a crew of excavators. But a very well-known A rank shows up, and turns out the guy who carries the bags and extra equipment bailed on him and his team. So he wants to borrow somebody from the mining team. And obviously these guys are miners. They don't want to do that shit. So none of the other miners offer to go, in which case Sung agrees to go. But unlike his other ventures with randoms, this team is well put together. They got 6 A ranks, 3 B ranks. As long as this shit stays A ranked, they chillin'. Yeah, wishful thinking. Some high orcs pull up on these niggas and get straight to action. Mind you, one high orc is enough for one A rank hunter, and a whole platoon just pulled up. The A ranks, they're able to hold their own, but the B rank niggas, they're about to get knocked off.
Speed, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, bro.
But before that happens, the orcs either just start dying or slowing down completely. This nigga Sung had decided he was gonna go ghost mode and just start slicing Achilles, ripping heads off. He's putting venoms on these niggas so they can't move. So the group actually manages to put down all the orcs. They realize that if this is what they're running into off the jump, then you just turn around and dip. The strike team tries to retreat, which of course the gate is sealed. And anyone who tries to use magic to unseal the gate, they just get fucked up by a curse. Yo, Simi, heal these niggas. Yo, Simi, I said. Twice the number of orcs just pulled up on these niggas. The front man, he starts tweaking the fuck out like he just did a dose of Superfin or some shit. And then the nigga starts speaking English. The ruler of the orcs start talking through his soldiers and tells them they got two options. Pull up, have a meeting with me, or get bodied. And one of the ladies, she gives Sung her notebook and says, "This is my will. Please give it to my family." And Sung's like, "All right, I got you." As huge and open as this one, in any video game, you know you're about to go into a boss fight. This nigga Cargo gone. We're just gonna call this nigga Carl, bro. And Core. They low-key realize they not built for this shit.
Loki, you niggas are only here for our pleasure and entertainment. We will rip out your spines and wear them as necklaces. Then we will eat your livers like nuggets. And use them
as they are currently filling their pants. So it's one A rank versus the leader of the high orcs. Obviously, since one high orc is enough for one A rank, and he has 4 foot soldiers who are even stronger than that, and he's even stronger than them, who do you think is gonna win? Right, this nigga gets slapped up and down. Floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling. And then the orcs make their advance. First one to start moving is Iron. He tries using his intimidate. I don't know if it's an intimidate or if it's like a bring everyone to me. What's the word? Distract? I don't know. But in a flash, we see Sung flying through the crowd, taking heads, necks, and all sorts of body parts. And he's actually putting a dent in the troops. Carl even eliminates some of Sung's soldiers. But obviously, Sung can just bring them back because they're shadows. And not only are you going to kill and tame all his men, but to say you're going to kill him and do the same is top 10, top 15 most disrespectful things to do. Knocks off the last one. Sung starts shit talk. Looks like my generals are stronger. Obviously that pisses Carl off. He tries to curse the nigga Sung, but it don't work. This is Sung Jin Woo. Carl pops the shield and Sung's mages low-key just blow that bitch to smithereen. But Carl just eats it, and obviously he ends up getting bodied by his own men, and Sung hits his ass with the Arise. Now, in the last moment, he resurrected old dude and named him Iron. That name was kind of fun. Sung forgets what Cargo Gon's name was, and he names this nigga Tusk. Yeah, no, see, the first one, that was fucked. This one, you gonna name the nigga quietly. Wow. 2 very impressive shows of outclassing their verse. But this round goes to Sid. Now hold on. Before you get the pitchfork Sung Glazers, I said that we were doing 5 key elements. So firstly, intro. Intro's going to Sid. He went with the distraction approach. And while everyone was distracted, appeared out of nowhere in the arena. And then he dropped that cold ass line about exposing the church's secrets. I personally think Sid has intro because Sung didn't need to let that nigga get beat that bad. Come on now. The fit very clearly goes to Shadow. Sung just wearing a sweater and jeans. And named that nigga Tusk after reviving him and made his men kill him. Small ornaments goes to Sid with the got you, then biting her neck meat and dropping the strongest witch off in history. Outro, Sid. That big ass explosion, its radiant light piercing the heavens, was too hard not to give him outro. So this round goes to Sid. The score is 1-1. Sid, he came to win this bitch, and he shows that in the second round after the upset of round 1. But arguably 2 of the biggest moments out of each series are up next. If you don't watch either of these shows, you've seen a clip or 2 just from these next moments alone. Let's switch it up. This time, we're gonna have Sung go first. So for context, there's this island where a bunch of ants live. And they only live there because a gate opened up and previous hunters failed to close the gate in time. The commish started up a raid to take back the island, in which he assembled all S-rank Korean hunters as well as the aid of Japan, who lended their S-rank hunters. The reason they're going so all out for this one is because this will be the 4th time they've tried to seize back the island from the ants. So they've brought all the manpower they can muster. And Sung has just decided not to go, as he just woke his mom up from a coma, and he thinks that with this many S ranks, there's no way they fail. The hunters end up on Jeju Island, and like 2 or 3 of them are here for vengeance, since they took part in one of the previous Jeju Island raids failed, where they lost some of their comrades. The plan is simple. A ranks, they hold the water. The Japanese S ranks are to hold off the little ants on the island, and the Korean S ranks are to go into the nest and exterminate the queen. Yeah, the whole plan goes to shit. 3 of the Japanese S rank hunters get their fucking heads taken off before they can even notify their team or identify their enemy. 2 of their comrades show up to check on them, seeing that their vitals are showing they logged off the goddamn server. One of these niggas surrounds them in ice out of straight fear and still gets knocked off. All while the Japanese S ranks are actually in there doing their damn job and take down the queen. Not easily, but they take her down nonetheless. But the queen let off a cry, causing all the ants to come to her aid. And as the hunters are deciding what they're going to do, he shows up. The Ant King, with such vile, repulsing aura that it brings even Hunter Cha to her knees. Big nigga tries to step up to the king, but the king's aura alone convinced him he had just died. After the Ant King eats his mother, this nigga speed blitzes the fuck out of these boys, sending Cha into a wall with her whole left side completely fucked. Big nigga tries to attack. The king just takes this nigga's arms. Furry nigga, he gets slashed the fuck up. Fireboy gets hacked down the middle. And Cowboy nigga gets his shit caught in rock. And then this dumbass tells the king, hey, we have a healer. You can keep on attacking me, but I'm just gonna keep on coming back. So the king brushes this nigga off and then donuts the healer's ass, literally. And after realizing these niggas are some weak shit, he sets off to go find the king of humans. He sets off to go hunt the Japanese hunter. There's 3 of them left on the island. He bodies one, lets one get away, and then this nigga Goto gonna try and say he's really the king of all hunters. And just as quickly as he was to say he was the king of all humans, he gets his shit knocked off. Going back to the Korean hunters, the king isn't there, but they're so fucked up that they can't keep fighting off these hordes of ants that are coming after. The Korean hunters are in such a terrible spot, they're ready to say farewell to this earthly plane. But that's when the big Wu shadows pull up on their ass, blocking all the ants as he just sits on top of a roof with the wind flowing perfectly, hair on lock, cardigan on lock. The nigga chants exchange, showing up on the battlefield last second and destroying the little soldier ant. To everyone else's point of view, this nigga just came out of nowhere. To their knowledge, Sung wasn't coming at all. And then all the S-rank hunters are being blown away by just Sung's shadows powers, bro. He knocks off the remainder of the ants. And just as Sung is about to revive the ants to flex that much more, he pulls up the Ant King, an aura so strong that even the big Wu is shook. I know I'm glazing the fuck out of this nigga, but he's so fucking hard. Sung walks up on his ass with the hardest face-off of 2020-25 with the entire nation watching. People he's carried out of bad situations watching, and even the chairman watching. Man, the chairman, he was hype as fuck to see Sung. As soon as he seen the shadows, he knew. Nigga broke his chair and everything, cheesing ear to ear. His daddy, Sung Jin Woo, done pulled up on this bitch. They know they got Jeju on lock. The ant throws a punch at Sung, which, from everyone else's point of view, Sung is a mage, right? A hit like that should have taken him smooth the fuck out. But the big Woo eats that bitch, bends that boy over, and sends one right back at his ass, confusing everyone. Cause like I just said, Sung is supposed to be a mage, but he just ate that shit and then kindly returned the favor and rocked this ant's shit. The ant is rightfully pissed, so they're going blow for blow. But he starts to realize that Jinwoo is winning. Jinwoo sends that nigga flying across the stadium, gets on his ass, sends an uppercut from hell, but in the middle of landing that hit, the ant landed his own hit and got Sung's ass with some poison. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sung Jin fucking Woo. That shit don't work. Now this ant nigga is even more pissed off and starts evolving on a nigga. And he low-key, very low-key, starts working Sung's shit, as he's having to actually dodge and use weapons, as well as run on fucking walls to avoid attacks. The king even gets Sung into a tight spot, and it seems Sung is finished, but his attack Fatal Strike upgrades to mutilation, and he starts getting to work, cutting that ant up into multiple pieces, taking his arms, legs, hands, all of it, the whole shebang. But obviously it'd be too easy at that point, so the nigga just regenerates and then starts running. But ladies and gentlemen, the moment he stepped to the Sung Jin Woo, fleeing was no longer an option. The ant commands his ants to kill Sung, and Sung drops the boys. Get them. Them motherfuckers pop out and get to straight working these ants. They do these ants bad. Sung steps through the fire that, I'm not gonna lie, he definitely could have just dissipated or nullified, and the ant tries to run again. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Sung Jin Woo. Running was no longer an option the moment you step to him. Sung uses the force, puts that nigga on his ass as he tries crawling away. Yeah, flying didn't work. Let's try all floors. Yeah, makes sense to me. But Sung walk him down Woo, hits his ass with one more mutilation, ending the fight. The S ranks get on a helicopter and they flee. Sung tells them to leave him behind as he's gonna get the rest of the stragglers. That moment, they realize that even if they stayed, they would only get in Sung's way. So Sung, being left on the island, smashes up the last of the ants and brings the king back to fight by his side with Arise. Ladies and gentlemen, this sequence was fucking phenomenal. If you can, I highly advise you go watch this. Even if you've already watched this whole season, just go watch this sequence one more time, because it was beautiful, man. Sung, shocked that the ant can speak, as none of his shadows can speak. He names him Beru, and Beru murks all other ants that he can find. But as the S ranks were leaving the island, ants were swarming their helicopter, and they almost get knocked off. But once again, last second, Sung kills the ants, preventing the S ranks from dying yet again as they look over and see Sung standing on top of a dragon. And the fourth Jeju Island raid comes to a fucking end. My nigga, Sung Jin Woo cannot be new to this shit. The last second pull up is a top tier aura farming technique when done correct, and he pulled it off flawlessly here. Beru's strength also set it up nicely, as seeing him body any and everybody just for Sung to have this nigga running away, crawling on all fours to get away, puts it into perspective for everyone just how far ahead he really is. And that pose on the dragon, nigga, that was unnecessary, but it was hard as fuck. Top tier right there, top tier. The future Shadow Monarch, he's not quite there yet, is on a whole new level. You could say he's on a solo level. Ding.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
Was that?
I'm saying
No? That was corny? Alright, let's get into Sid's next moment. So Sid has decided he'd go with the festival approach of his own free will. But he goes in disguised with the sole purpose of revealing his imminent power at the end of the festival after, whooping everybody's ass. Sid had some considerable opponents that he had to defeat before getting here. He did it very easily, but in universe, they're pretty considerable. But not a single one of them mattered, as this Princess Iris Midgar. Not the strongest in the series, but is her kingdom's ace. She's in this tournament as a means for damage control, as things have been spiraling out of control behind the scenes, with Shadow Garden and the Cult of Diablos moving however the fuck they want on Iris's territory. And it's showing the citizens of Midgar that she just can't protect them. By winning this tournament, again, as she has won the past few years, it will help to strengthen the people's trust in Princess Iris. But the mundane man has no intention of letting her do so. Iris knows that he's strong, even given his appearance. She decides that with that fact, she will cut him down with one attack. The announcer gets ready. He prepares the fighters. The round starts, and Iris's head gets taken off of her body. Or so she thought. The moment it started, she thought she had died of decapitation and gets flung back. It takes a minute, but she realizes that the mundane man didn't move at all. She instinctively backed up to avoid an attack that was never even launched. She hears the people talking shit, so she shakes this uneasy feeling, ready to strike. But then she feels her ankle get cut, then her arm, her leg. Just mundane man's movements alone are convincing her that she's getting hit. The people, still shit-talking Iris, kinda sends her over the edge. So she gets enraged, ready to strike down mundane man once and for all. As she's going for her assault, she realizes that this nigga has yet to even draw his sword. This hesitation allows mundane man to redirect her blade, choke slam her ass, and hold his sword to her throat, with Princess Iris very visibly shook. Our other princess, who is in all three of these fucking moments for Sid Kagano, Princess Rose, shows up in the royal spectating area or whatever the fuck. Her fiance, Duke Perv Asshat, yes, that is that nigga's name, taunts her with her obviously drugged father, who he's controlling. Rose apologizes to her father for her past and future mistakes that she may commit. Although probably very difficult, her father gets through the drugs, and the only words he's able to get out is that he forgives her for her mistakes. She goes on the offense and strikes her own father down as a means to free him from Duke Perv Asshat's control. She then prepares to take her own life, but the mundane man shatters the glass, kills Duke Perv Asshat's men, and reveals himself as Shadow, the stylish bandit slayer. This bitch Rose fucks up the Aura farm and calls him the stylish fucking bandit slayer, the kid who saved her when she was kidnapped as a child. Rose explains to Shadow that she can't carry on. She's in fear for what's to come, and she may have made the wrong decision. But Shadow tells her to raise her head. Her duty is yet to come to an end. These words move her and she runs off to continue her mission. Duke Perv Asshat realizes his men are fucking dead and asks if anybody can stop Shadow. That's when the goddess of war, Beatrix, offers a hand and clashes with Shadow, where the two end up on some rooftop. I don't know where. I think it was just the roof of the arena, but they end up on the rooftop nonetheless. But before we can see this fight pan out, we cut back to Iris Midgar, seeing mundane man reveal himself as Shadow, sending her into a fit of rage. Mind you, this whole thing, the whole reason she was trying to win this year, she was going to try and win regardless, but the whole reason she was trying to win this year was to show the people that she is still strong and she can still protect them. Just for Shadow to come along and ruin that entirely. We get back to Shadow and Beatrix on the rooftop doing some clashing. You know, classic sword fight. After they clash for a little bit, Shadow steps back and then completely disappears, just to appear behind her ass. He takes a slow swing, so she blocks that bitch last second. Tries to attack, but Shadow walks around her ass, walks right past her, just to appear behind her again. But she blocks it. Now, what do you think Shadow does next? He does it again, appearing behind her, knocking her back. Now, hold up. Let me interrupt the flow of the story. Outclassing her so much that he's able to flash step silently behind her 3 consecutive times. And when she says, in the same sense, she can't focus on every raindrop, she can't focus on him as he shifts around. His response is, "What's wrong? We're only just getting started." Ladies and fucking gents, this type of aura farming is next level. Even if you haven't watched Eminence in Shadow, there's no way you have not seen this clip. I'm talking, he very easily could have killed her, but didn't. All for the love of the game. All for the love of a fight. A fight that was very rudely interrupted, but no problem. That's even more aura to farm. Princess Iris shows up wielding an artifact. She asks Shadow, so do you think this is underhanded? Implying that Shadow might think that having an artifact is a cheap trick. In which he replies, no, not at all. But to think you would rely on that crutch. Yeah, this nigga Shadow's disrespectful as fuck, bro. He pisses her the fuck off. So she summons a giant flame and attempts to hit this nigga, in which he just swiftly dodges. But Iris ain't no pushover. She goes for a hit a second time, just for this nigga to dodge again and give her a pity point for the visuals alone. And then no look blocks Beatrix's shit. Beatrix is the goddess of war, my nigga. How do you no look block her shit? They start clashing through the city and end up on top of some carriage. It appears Iris no longer gives a fuck about her people and only cares about taking this nigga Shadow out. And even though it's a 2v1, he's still blocking all of their shit. But as he gets distracted, Iris does manage to send him into a building. Now, it's not stated directly, but it's pretty heavily implied, in my opinion at least, that this was on purpose on Shadow's end, as he gets a hold of 2 crowbars, which, if you do not know, a crowbar is Shadow's main weapon of choice and does a fuck ton of damage. Now Shadow, using 2 crowbars, catches both of these bitches' blades, hitting a spin move stomp on Iris's ass and dashing through the city with Beatrix, clashing and destroying buildings and shit. The 2 end up on a train where Iris catches up with they ass and tries to get the jump on Sid. But this is Sid motherfucking Kagano we talk about, Mr. Shadow himself. He dodges that shit effortlessly and tells these bitches to try and not fall off the train. Why this bitch even moving mid-crisis? I don't know. This bitch Iris gonna think maybe I should ask him who he actually is, as if that was going to get her an answer other than just Shadow. The nigga tells her, I'm Shadow. Anything else is just a fancy lie. That's hard as fuck. It kind of reminds me of whenever Wonder Woman will use the lasso of truth on Batman and he just says he's Batman. 3 jump off the train landing on some water, and Shadow uses magic to replicate the attacks from the Witch of Calamity. It doesn't do much. Iris just turns that shit into smoke and Shadow dodges, but Iris actually, oh, never mind. Beatrix unfortunately breaks Shadow's crowbars, in which he's forced to bring back the swords and make this an actual sword fight. Beatrix and Shadow end up on top of a clock tower, where Shadow uses the silent flash step again, and this bitch Beatrix gonna talk about some, not this time. Like, she didn't legit block the other 3 flash steps. Shadow gives her flowers though. She's strong, while also saying she's shitty but at using magic. And before Shadow can show her how to properly use magic, Iris's ass shows up, hitting him with the dragon's breath type move that he just fucking blocks and dissipates. Iris gets the bright idea, Beatrix, no matter what, I will sacrifice my life to hold him still. I need you to get the finishing blow. She charges at this nigga and goes for the fake sword swing, but just gets fucking chin checked to the jawbone with the knee. Beatrix, she was still charging that bitch up and missed. She fucking missed. Oh my god. This nigga sweeps her feet, picks her up, slams her on top of Iris, and stomps on her shit, shaking the entire building. He starts walking, and Rose tells his ass, you've been doing that shit a lot all over the capital. Every royal knight in Midgar is mobilized. Everyone in Midgar is your enemy. There's nowhere left for you to run. This nigga starts laughing his ass off. Run away? Who's running? Running where? And pulls out the ultimate stunt move on these niggas by casting his magic over the entire capital, telling these bitches playtime is over. It's time you witness my earth-shattering, sky-rending, supremely ultimate, almighty, and unparalleled attack. He charges his atomic up and launches it just to hit the ult cancel and clears out the cloudy sky, vanishing without a trace. And yet again, Iris has allowed Shadow to do as he fucking pleases. Ladies and fucking gentlemen, I needn't say more. This was an impeccable show of aura, infiltrating a festival as some scrub, embarrassing the top Dark Knight, to then reveal yourself as the capital's main thorn in their side, to follow it up with damn near speed blitzing an opponent who is known as the goddess of war. Not just some scrub, the goddess of war, my nigga. Princess Iris, I think, don't quote me, I think is the strongest Dark Knight in the capital. And even she was simply no fucking match for his speed and strength. It was kind of shown that she was not on the level of either of these beings. even with an artifact, but she is still vastly stronger than any other Dark Knight. The final act of showing that he has the power to destroy the entire capital and lets it all bask in his magical light. Both of them realizing there's nothing they can do and allowing him to just get it over with, just to pump fake and disappear into nothing while clearing the fucking sky, is some next level shit. Sid showed the fuck out, bro. But it is time for our verdict.
Yo, what's up, guys? Editing Kavion here. Ignore my voice because I am sick as fuck, so I probably sound a little shit right now, but I fucked up the outro and kind of giving their points, so I'm gonna hop in here and let you guys know. So firstly, the intro is gonna go to Sung Jin-woo. Okay, the last minute pull-up technique was executed so flawlessly that it does not make sense to not give it to him, and Sid's was kind of just, it was whatever. Honestly, we're gonna give fit to Sung Jin-woo. I know earlier in the video, bro, I said Shadow was gonna have all the fits because Sung just wears regular clothes, but me now, I'm thinking like you could rock Sung's fit. You walk outside in Sid's fit, bro, you're gonna look like a fucking dork. That or niggas is gonna think you up to absolutely no good. So I'm gonna give fit to Sung. Embarrassment of the opponent, that is going to Sid Kagano because it was a straight 2v1, bro. Sung did have that nigga Beru crawling on all fours to get away, but Sid went up against what I assume to be one of the strongest in the verse, embarrassed the fuck out of her, and embarrassed the fuck out of Midgar's strongest Dark Knight, straight up. And on top of that, she had an artifact. She had a boost in power and still fucking lost. Outro. That's going to Sid. That's so easily going to Sid Kagano. He pump faked / ult canceled on them niggas and they couldn't do anything about it. Plus the multiple times that he stomped on Iris, plus the multiple times he almost speed blitzed Beatrix, the goddess of war, and then small aura farming moments. I always knew that I was going to end this off on a tie. Small aura farming moments is going to be left up to you guys because of two reasons. One, this is the first, maybe the only aura off video I do. It just depends on how this video does, you know, and it's not like there are a multitude of characters out there to do a video like this on, but this is essentially a prototype, you know, it's like a test run. In the future, I'll probably fucking remake it, to be honest. But, and the second reason, probably not very hard to tell that I am extremely biased towards Sid Kagano, and it wouldn't feel right. So I'm gonna paint the picture for you, okay? I dropped this video. The video does good. At the end of the video, everyone sees that I picked Sid Kagano. Now I have a multitude of Sung Jin-woo fans on my goddamn neck because I have a very clear bias towards Sid Kagano. Why would I put myself through that, bro? If in the comments it's very clear who people are saying won, then it's very clear who people are saying won, bro. There's nothing I can say to argue that. There's nothing that anybody can say to argue that. But yeah, man, I just wanted to hop in here, redo my outro, even though I am sick. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been working on this video for a minute now. I put it on the back burner for a little bit, but I recently hopped back on it, and hopefully it's out on the 18th. Hopefully it's out tomorrow. But let me know if you guys want some more shit like this because, you know, it was kind of fun. I do want to find out a way to make it to where the video's not this fucking long. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Today's song is going to be Out Miami by Rich and Mary. If you made it this far, like and sub. And I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.